This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.
Well, here we go. We got a story about Georgia man, Santa Claus, Walmart, and a lot of abuse. One of those fine, uplifting stories that picks you up and makes you feel good. A Georgia man who once played Santa Claus at a Walmart is at the center of a chilling double murder case. And if you're wondering, yeah, that's him behind me. That was Santa at a Walmart. He's accused of killing two of his own children and burying them in his backyard, all with the alleged help of his wife, her mother, and other family members. Family matters. Elwyn Crocker Sr. is charged with the murders of 14-year-old Mary Crocker and her brother, also 14, Elwyn Crocker Jr., who died 2 years ago in 2018 and 2016, respectively. Prosecutors say the children were never reported missing, and their bodies were ultimately discovered behind their family home in Effingham County, following a tip from a concerned individual in late 2018. Text messages presented by prosecutors during motion hearings this week have revealed disturbing details about the alleged crimes. In one exchange, Crocker Sr. reported texts his wife, Mother Kim Wright, saying, "Almost done burying Mary." Her reply, "Cool, how deep?"
Cool.
They live amongst us. Sometimes they even play Santa at Walmart. Cool, how deep? Wright Crocker Sr.'s wife, Candace Crocker, the children's stepmother, and her boyfriend, Roy Anthony Prater, have all been charged with felony murder. How is this Senior's wife and her boyfriend? How does that make sense?
Oh, Candace Crocker, the kid's stepmom.
Okay.
Her boyfriend.
Okay.
Crocker and his wife.
I get it. Okay. Candace and Prater pled guilty to murder in 2020. The motions hearings, which began Monday, are focused on determining what evidence will be admissible at the trial, including whether the third surviving Crocker child will be allowed to testify. During the hearings, prosecutors introduced additional texts allegedly exchanged between Crocker and Crocker Sr. and other family members. In one, Crocker commented about Mary, "I think she's been hit in the head too many times." Prosecutors claim he later caused Mary to starve to death, and while burying her, texted that he was spooked by a slow-moving car. "I think it was a cop," he said in a message to Wright. Mary was last seen in October of 2018, and her brother, Elwyn Jr., disappeared in November 2016. Authorities say that at no point were either children reported missing. When questioned in late 2018, Crocker Sr. allegedly gave police information that led them to the children's buried remains. A forensic pathologist testified this week that Mary was severely malnourished at the time of her death, with a body mass index of 8.6, dangerously below average. Her actual weight was below the first percentile, said Dr. Edmund Donahue. "I'll never see such a low number." Or he's never seen such a low number. He added that Mary's body length was also below the second percentile, concluding that she had starved to death. Elwyn Jr.'s remains were also decomposed to determine the exact cause of death, but both deaths were ruled homicides. Defense attorneys for Crocker Sr. are pushing to block crime scene photos from being presented at trial, arguing they would traumatize the jury. The amount of trauma a jury goes through from seeing these photos is extensive, said defense attorney Geraldine Bell. Prosecutor Matthew Breeden countered that the time for objections is during the trial and urged the court to move the case forward after years of delays. This case was indicted in 2019. We've had motion hearings for 6 years, he said. It's time to move forward. Mm-hmm. The children's biological mother was reportedly homeless in South Carolina at the time of their deaths. Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services had reportedly been contacted about the family before the tragic discovery. Shocking story right there, which leads us into this, a lawsuit claiming that Walmart was informed about Elwyn Crocker Sr.'s alleged misconduct and pedophilic behavior long before he was charged with murdering his 2 children in Effingham County, but failed to intervene. That's what the allegation is saying in the lawsuit. Originally filed in Effingham County Superior Court against both Walmart Inc. and Crocker Sr., the case has since been transferred to a federal court. Elwyn Crocker Sr. and 4 others are facing murder charges in connection with the deaths of his 2 children, a case that began unfolding in December of 2018. Deputies from the Effingham County Sheriff's Office were conducting the welfare check at the family's home in Rosebud Place in Guyton when they made the chilling discovery, the bodies of the 2 teenagers. I want to get to more of the lawsuit because a lot of it's rehashing that. Okay, here we go. Elwyn Crocker Sr.'s alleged pedophilic behavior. Where's Walmart?
Well, so he was employed at the local Walmart, and he worked there in maintenance, but also would be Santa and the Easter Bunny.
How nice.
Yeah, isn't that adorable?
Investigators later revealed that the children had been held in dog kennels, kept naked, and deprived of food and basic care. What's weird is that, and this whole thing, this was a group effort. This wasn't just like one crazy person. Like
everybody did.
Everybody's like, oh, we got the kids out of the cage. And he was competent enough to go play a Santa at a Walmart.
Mm-hmm. And have the job in maintenance. Yeah.
Elwyn Jr. had reportedly been missing for over 2 years before the authorities found his remains. At the time of his arrest, Elwyn Crocker Sr. was employed at a local Walmart where he worked in maintenance from 2015 to 2018. He also played the roles of the store's Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. A lawsuit filed by the administrator of the estate of Mary Frances Crocker alleges that staff at the Rincon Walmart in Effingham County were warned multiple times about Elwyn Crocker Sr.'s alleged pedophilic behavior, but failed to take action or alert authorities. According to the complaint, employees informed management that Crockett, who worked as both a maintenance man and in-store Santa, had expressed disturbing sentiments involving children. Court documents reveal that Crocker allegedly admitted to a cellmate that he was a child rapist, did not wear condoms, quote, molested children, and, quote, liked being Santa because he could touch kids. I think we need to do a little better job at hiring, Walmart. I think you need to, it might be, you might need to ask a few more questions of those you employ. Most significantly, the lawsuit claims that as early as December of 2017, a Walmart employee told the store manager that Crocker had described getting sexual gratification from children sitting on his lap while playing Santa. Despite another warning in the summer of 2018 about his alleged pedophilic propensities, Walmart allegedly failed to report the claims or follow the company policy. Even after these reports, Walmart continued to advertise the availability of Santa Claus, played by Crocker Sr., at the Rincon Walmart in 2017 and 18. The lawsuit seeks damages on behalf of the estate of Mary Frances Crocker, citing the unspeakable mental and physical pain and suffering she endured during the final 11 months of her life, an agonizing period that allegedly began when a Walmart employee first reported Elwyn Crocker Sr.'s disturbing behavior to management. According to the suit, Walmart's failure to act on those warnings or follow its mandatory reporting policies directly contributed to Mary's prolonged abuse and eventual death in October of 2018. By failing to follow its mandatory reporting duties and internal reporting policies, Walmart led to even more months of torture for Mary Crocker. The lawsuit states, if Walmart had obeyed its internal policies in Georgia law, it would have prevented Mary Crocker's death. Therefore, Walmart is similarly liable for Mary's death. The case is currently pending in the U.S. District Court. I mean, dynamically, you had mutants working at the Walmart who also were too stupid to report this. I'm going to guess we might be in a low IQ area of the country with this story going on. Call me crazy. But that's probably what's happening here. It's not like, I don't believe Walmart, the company itself, would have said, yeah, let's keep this Santa on, had their localized employees done the right thing and said, this is going on, and then it got to where it was supposed to. That was the failure there. It was on those employees. They work for Walmart, so yes, Walmart is ultimately responsible for that. But I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that Walmart would be like, yeah, let's keep the pedo Santa. They probably had no idea there was a pedo Santa. until all this went down, and then found out, oh, look, all these blobs over here do not communicate efficiently at all. And they knew about this for a long time. Why didn't you tell anybody? I don't know.
Didn't believe it.
Oh.
Well, and my guess is that, he's like, hey, I'll volunteer to be Santa. And they're like, well, that's awesome. Let's go with that. And because he works there anyway. So, but the fact that they were alerted and nobody did anything, I don't know that it would have, sadly enough, I like to think it would have changed the outcome had somebody paid attention to it, because maybe these children would have gotten taken out of the home or something. Maybe it would have thrown up some red flags at least.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if
I have no way of knowing now.
If it had been reported, I mean, Walmart would have reported it probably. I mean, as much as people want to hate Walmart, I actually live in Walmart capital of the world. They are headquartered right here. The headquarters is about 5 miles up the road. I'm not going to go into praising Walmart, but if they know they're a huge company, but this really could happen to any company if your employees are not responsible and not reporting what's going on. There's no way that the heads are going to know what the hell's happening if the hands aren't working down here. And
you don't hear of Santa being at Walmart these days.
No, I've seen the Easter Bunny at Walmart once or twice. So this is just outside of Savannah in somewhat rural Georgia. Yeah, I've driven through that area before. Not a place you want to break down. Not a place you want to break down. Not a place you necessarily want to get off the exit and use the bathroom off in the forested area. I like Savannah, but there's some interesting, so to speak, rural areas in Georgia
I think this is interesting that two of the people have pled guilty, and this case is dragging out so long, years, because of all these different motions. And I thought it was interesting that the crime scene photos are so horrific. The defense said they don't want them presented in the trial.
Well, is that...
So if you're the defense and you don't want these presented in the trial because they're so horrific,
No, the defense is raising this. That's bullshit. They're just trying to get him out, and they're trying to raise some stupid issue. It's going to traumatize them. Yeah, it kind of sucks being on a jury sometimes, but you know what?
I think it would be traumatizing.
It would be traumatizing. You don't want him out there because that's going to pretty much kill your client.
Kill the fate, yeah.
So that's what their argument is not. It's going to traumatize. They're saying that out loud. That's what's coming out of their mouth. That's not what they are intending, though. And I'm sure these photos will come out to a jury. I feel bad for those jurors.
I do too.
I think there should be grief counselors on the other side of that jury box. But it's quite shocking out there what people are capable of.
Want to stay on top of the latest true crime cases? Press subscribe now and never miss a breaking update from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.